Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of A Healthy Dose of Fran. Today I'm doing a new Percy Jackson theory video, looking particularly at one book, The Titan's Curse, and the character that is predominantly involved in the story with it, Thalia Grace, and how, at the end of the book, she became the lieutenant of the Hunters of Artemis after the tragic death of Zoe Nightshade. But the question that I always had after that book, and from then on after with her being the lieutenant, was why did Thalia Grace become the lieutenant of the Hunters of Artemis? Now before this video starts, I want to give a big thank you to the artist of the thumbnail for this video. So Darkest Legends, I really appreciate this beautiful artwork that you did, and if you guys want to go see more of her art, her Instagram is linked in the description box down below. But now, let's get on to the video. Okay, before anyone jumps down my throat, yes, I know they can be very easily answered, and Artemis pretty much gave us the answer in the book in that she needed a new lieutenant because Zoe had died, and Thalia didn't want to be the person in the prophecy, so took the option of becoming immortal and a hunter of Artemis. And because Artemis needed a new lieutenant, Thalia just filled that spot. And yes, I know that's basically given us the answer, but I can't stand things that are that simple. And you've probably guessed that from my channel as a whole. Nothing in these videos is simple. Nothing is to the point because that's boring. So today I'm looking at various different reasons as to why Thalia may have been made the lieutenant. And yes, maybe later I will admit that that could possibly just be the reason, but until that point comes, I won't let that happen. So let's go on to number one of the reasons why. Now, the big thing that I always didn't like with how Thalia became lieutenant quickly was that Zoe Nightshade, from what we heard, trained for years and was with the Hunters for centuries, and then became lieutenant after showing great promise. But Thalia gets this job instantly, and I think we can kind of possibly guess the reason behind it, in that she shows great promise as a leader. We see it throughout pretty much the entirety of what her character is. We hear it in the story as to how she sacrificed her own life to save Luke, Annabeth and Grover. We see it in how she leads quests. Yes, she can be hard-headed and not really think these things through, but she still does the thing that a leader should do, and that is protect everyone as best as possible. So it could be that Artemis saw this promise in her of being a great leader, which is exactly what a lieutenant needs to be. A lieutenant is a leader. So if Thalia shows the ability to be a good leader, that would make sense as to why she was made the leader of the Hunters of Artemis. But again, that's a bit too simple for me. So that's why I came up with number two. Now, number two is based on the gods themselves. Now, the gods are all about power. We learn this a little bit more actually in the Trials of Apollo. Power is pretty much everything that keeps them godly-like, and pretty much, yeah, power is just the definition of what they want and need. Without power, they are nothing. And we can compare that between Zoe and Thalia. Thalia is the daughter of Zeus, the king of the gods, the possibly most powerful god of them all. Zoe is the daughter of the Titan Atlas, possibly one of the strongest ones, considering he has to hold the sky on his shoulders for all time. So these two leaders are possibly the strongest members in the Hunters of Artemis based on their godly parentage, making them incredibly powerful beings. And what do gods love most? Power. So of course it would make sense that Thalia became lieutenant because of the promise that she showed with her powers and abilities. And also, you know, probably favoritism, because Artemis was probably thinking, oh god, if I don't pick my dad's daughter, I may get grounded, and, you know, I don't want to be like Apollo. Then we have the last theory. And I know I said I wasn't going to agree with the simple one, but kind of when I started to think on it a little bit more, it kind of started to make a bit more sense in terms of what Thalia herself says. The prophecy wasn't meant for her. The prophecy wasn't something that she was destined for. It wasn't her place. It wasn't her responsibility, because she couldn't be trusted with it. She couldn't be trusted with that power. But a leadership role, something that she had shown promise with, something that she had shown her strength with in terms of a strategic mind, not as much as Annabeth, who is obviously the daughter of a goddess of strategy, but even still, Thalia knew how to be a leader, and she knew when to step aside. And Artemis recognises this in Thalia, and as such, we know that they had a discussion beforehand where Thalia made the decision that she was going to join the Hunters of Artemis as the lieutenant of the Hunters, because while she wasn't going to be the child of the prophecy, she was still going to have the same level of importance, just in a different way. Now, I know that I was questioning Thalia's reason behind being the lieutenant, but it actually did make sense for her character, with her being very much a leader type person in how she led Luke and Annabeth from the age of 11, and did so incredibly well. And yes, I know Luke was involved with part of that also, but it shows her group abilities also. And I think that kind of really shows that she has this strength of character, which is something that a leader needs, especially the leader of a group of immortal, highly strung, powerful girls who go across the world saving people, recruiting people, and so on and so forth. You need someone with group abilities and also the know-how to keep people safe, because Thalia is all about keeping those she cares about safe. And I think she was destined to become the lieutenant of the Hunters. So yes, I'm not questioning her role of being the lieutenant. My main thing was just kind of wondering why she did become the lieutenant so quickly. And I think with the theories that I gave, it kind of makes sense why it was so quick, and there are so many different reasons as to why. But you know what? You guys don't have to agree with the reasons that I gave. You could think, okay, yeah, it was as simple as it was in the book. It just happened to be that Zoe had died, Artemis needed someone to fill the lieutenant's role, Thalia volunteered. And I can agree with that, but I always like to look at things a little bit deeper. So what do you guys think? Do you agree with my theories, or do you think they were a little bit out there, or do you have your own as to why Thalia became the lieutenant? Let me know in the comment section down below. Also, what did you think of the theories in general? Did you enjoy them? Do you think they were a bit ridiculous? If you did enjoy them, be sure to leave a thumbs up on this video. And if you enjoyed the video in general, a thumbs up is always appreciated, so I know that you guys are enjoying this content. But in general, guys, I want to thank you so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. If you go to the description box down below, you find the links to my Instagram and my Patreon. Where on Patreon you can get early access to any and all of my videos, as well as have a say as to what comes out in future. Here on YouTube, however, if you guys aren't already subscribed, go to the button down below or click the one popping up here on screen. If you want to check out my previous Percy Jackson series or discussions, the playlist will be popping up here, or something else for you guys will be popping up here. But again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.